Hi guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're going to look at the dobro and playing slide. Just to start off with the slide, what I'm using here is a Dunlop Pyrex glass slide. You can use obviously brass or chrome or whatever, but I actually kind of prefer the sweet sound of the glass slide. What's important, or what I think is important, is the thickness of the actual slide. The thinner that is, the thinner the sound tends to be, and the thicker that is, the more thickness in terms of tone. And I like a nice thick tone, so I use as thick as a bottleneck as I can use. In terms of the different fingers you can put it on, that's really entirely up to yourself. I mean, if you analyse some of the great slide players, they use, you can use that finger, any of them. You'll find that all the different great slide players have their own choice. I've sort of had a look to try to figure out what's the best, and there's none really. I think it's just down to what you feel comfortable with. So I think that really don't be taking your lead from anybody else that you must use that particular finger. Just use whatever finger that you feel comfortable and just work with that really. So I'm going to use the third finger today, the ring finger. So just to tell you, first of all, I'm using a vintage dobro, a nice little guitar. This is on loan from a very good friend, David. David, thanks very much for this. Today, I appreciate it, and we're down here in Johnny Boggs Centre of Music Excellence, so thanks to Johnny as well for putting up with us. And we're going to get started. We're going to just go for the tuning here. I'm using basically the guitar is standard tuning, but then I've altered a few strings. We start with standard tuning, which would be E, B, G, D, A, E. But what we'll do is we alter a few strings, and then that gives us this nice new tune. Take the E down to a D. Okay, so we just tune the E, the same as our D. Our B, G and D are going to stay as normal. The A string we're just dropping down to a G. And finally our bottom E string we're dropping down to a D as well. So that's from the first string, that's D, B, G, D, G, D. And that gives us an open G chord. And what's nice straight away, we can, for instance, if you're just even playing chords, you can, for instance, bounce the 5th string against the 6th string and it'll sort of sound like this. Simple idea. So I'm just bouncing off the A string, which is now a G, 5th string, G, part of a chord, the open chord, and then off the 6th string. A couple of things to really just help you when you're playing slide is make sure that you aim for. When you normally play a guitar, we're sort of playing close to the fret. What we're doing is we're going to aim over the fret, and that's important when you're playing slide, is that you don't sort of play in the box as such in the fret, you play over the actual wire. So if I'm going to a C chord, what I do is I actually go to over the top of the wire, and not normally where you would put your finger. We've got some nice easy chords here. We'll have an open G chord, and so at the 12th fret that'll be a G as well. At the 5th fret we'll have a C chord. At the 7th fret we'll have a D chord. So they give us some nice easy chords to target when we're going to be playing here. So as I say, we aim over the fret. The important thing is not to actually just sort of rely on that totally, but use your ear. So, because obviously you can't sort of be moving down exactly to the perpendicular to the fret. So what you do is obviously aim for it over the fret, but use your ear for intonation. Okay, so that's an important little tip. When we're playing, you don't press down on the slide the way we do when we're playing normally, where you press and fret notes. What we do is you let the slide touch the strings and glide across the string. So there is contact obviously, but it's just enough to make the contact. So we're not pressing, squeezing down hard, and that's quite a common problem I see amongst students when they're learning the slide, is sort of this pressing down too much and getting crunking of the frets. Okay, so that's a nice little simple thing as well to to watch out for. And what we'll do as well, if we're playing a particular note, we aim over the fret, but as I say, we'll let our ears help us with the tuning. And how we help, or how we really encourage that, is we use a bit of vibrato. So if I'm playing to a note, I don't just play sort of flat up to the note and hold it. What I would do is I would play a bit of vibrato. And here's a nice little tip, which is basically it's a great little idea and works every time. What you do is you play up to the note, play the vibrato, play a large vibrato, a wide vibrato, and then as your ear sort of finds the pitch, then you can narrow that vibrato to find the actual, the pure note. So what we're doing is we're starting with a larger vibrato, and then we're letting our ear and our finger position guide us to where we want the note to finish, and we're then narrowing the vibrato. After a while, with the touch, you actually find that you don't actually have to rely on that as much, but that's a useful little tip as well.